Perfect time for us to find out, Hawk, because Champion Select is ready. So let's hop on into that one to see how these two teams are going to face up.
Okay. Well, we've already taken all of our first round not on there. It's scary.
Okay, yeah, we're working on Dia's audio right now, but the Annie first pick getting thrown down, as Dia was mentioning to me, Wukong still up and available. I would expect to see INTZ snap that up right away. Aphelios Wukong, very, very strong team fighting core, and it does create proactivity, that sort of thing that we want to see from Yampi, but instead, it's actually just a Vi, maybe to try to attack a potential Zeri pick for VK.
Well, we know how terrifying the Vi can be, so absolutely no confusion there. This is supposed to isolate and destroy, but the AD carry doesn't quite exist just yet. With the Annie already having been locked in for Vivocade, you now need access to the backline of your own, and in comes the infamous Wukong. I can't believe Grell is getting away with this.
Ooh, and interestingly, Rakan thrown down for Vivocade. They don't take the Zeri because of the Vi. I think they want to get Xayah, but Dia, there's going to be another round of bans. I think INTZ might be able to remove that, and then we're looking down the tier list. Jinx also could get banned away, leaving Vivocade without an AD carry of choice to answer this Aphelios. So it creates an interesting dynamic. Lots of skirmishing, lots of proactivity for Vivocade in the first half already, but INTZ, very solid team fighting.
And so much CC from this roster now, with a Cassiopeia and a Vi locked in. Not to even mention the many, many things that Aphelios can bring to the table. You've got plenty to deal with the tools of the Vivocade stars. I think the biggest thing is that the trigger pull is so instantaneous, whether it be Wukong with a clone into your backline, or the Rakan flash engage, the Annie flash engage. We've got these very different styles already evolving, and that's, as you said, without the AD carries. Xayah already removed, and an Olaf, nice respect ban, taken away from ZZK in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, Olaf has been cropping up so much in the meta, so I like that one getting banned out, but there's some of the AD carry bans we expected. Vivocade almost certainly going to go for the Jinx, but INTZ, I love that you mentioned how much engage is, they're staring down right now.
Yeah.
So I want to see them find disengage for these carries. We've highlighted Nosferus and Ninja Kiwi as the guys for this team. Ninja Kiwi in particular, given the Aphelios, that champion that we highlighted as having so many wins already in this CBLOL split. You've got to protect him. You've got to keep him alive. Lulu is still up and available if INTZ wanted to take that one right now, Dia, and that's what I would expect them to go for.
You need some way, looking at this, to deal with Vi. INTZ, as you say, they're spoiled for choice in terms of what they go for next. With Vivocade stars, their win conditions are getting narrower and narrower by the second in this draft. As you alluded to, Lulu is going to be picked up. Vivocade stars still have absolutely no way to deal with Vi.
Yeah, they really don't. I mean, it's going to be a difficult prospect. However, the one thing I do want to mention, there's not a whole lot of follow-up for the Vi on INTZ, right? So Vi could go in, but who's going to one-shot? Aphelios, Cassio, Lulu, they like to play slow. They like to play more backline. Maybe something like a Renekton can come through for ZZK or a Gnar on the top side to assist in that dive to get on top of this Jinx that we expected. Because honestly, Dia, right now, with the Gwen getting locked in, I like Vivocade's composition a lot. It's a strong carry for Guigo in the top lane, who we didn't talk that much about. It's a strong carry for Trigo, and then playmaking in mid support and jungle, which I think is what we've come to expect from Vivocade through 2 games.
I really like this Gwen pickup as well, and with a Kennen hover and a lock-in, INTZ double down. We've got 2 picks sticking out like sore thumbs on both of these roster. The Jinx for Vivocade stars, the only person that's not jumping into INTZ. And for INTZ, it's Vi, the only person that is running at Trigo.
Yeah, I mean, Kennen is pretty good follow-up engage and has a great matchup into Gwen. It's very dominating in the lane after Gwen's many, many laning nerfs. It struggles immensely into the melee versus range matchup, so it gives INTZ a lot of playmaking on the top side of the map. But again, we need to see that playmaking come true. We need to see them do something to get themselves a lead, because here's the thing. Vivocade, sure, the top lane matchup isn't the best, but Grell on this Wukong, Grevthar on the Annie. Two champions that love to skirmish on players that have shown that they love to skirmish. And I just feel like this is a bread and butter Vivocade composition. Very easy to execute. INTZ, they're going to need to be at the top of their game with no true tanks on the comp.
I can't help but agree, Hawk. This is going to be a game balanced on a knife's edge. Rudu, are you seeing anything different than what we are coming out of INTZ? Because this is a scary game for them.
I love the sore thumbs analogy that you brought up, Dia, earlier. It's worth highlighting. For me, the only thing that I'm going to point your head toward is that Gwen in the top side of the map. Guy God pilots the Gwen like no other top laner that I have ever seen. Last time out, just last weekend, had an amazing performance on the Gwen. Truly lived up to the Guy God reputation. But, folks at home, gentlemen on the desk, we've done our drafts. Game 1 is locked and loaded. The players are ready to get onto the Rift. So let's take ourselves over there. Game number 1 of the first day of week 2 is ready to go.
It's going to be a really big day for especially INTZ, sitting at 1-1 right now. Every game in CBLOL matters. Because we run best of ones, you can change your entire season based off of just one day of good execution. That's something Vivocade stars got dialed in from the get-go. Now they're starting it off towards the bot side again with a nice cheeky little 3-stack. See if they can find anybody picked out. Instead, well, they find a nice little stealth.
I like this a lot, though, from Vivocade, because they know that their bot lane will win in isolation. So Grell wants to go up to top side and help out Guigo, who we've already highlighted is in a difficult matchup and a big carry for this team. So by clearing out the ward, by getting into the push, Vivocade, they're just trying to establish a position and put Trigo and Damage in a good spot. And for me, Dia, I've really got my eyes on Yampy. You know Grell wants to play around Guigo in this early game, wants to prop up his side lane carries. Where do you go? Do you try to cross map and find something more, or do you just try to counter and hope that ZZK can extend the one-on-one lead?
The really nice thing is that Grell's already placed a ward down in the enemy jungle, so does have an idea. We'll actually probably have full data now that I'm seeing Yappy start things up on the red buff as to exactly where the opposition is beginning their clear, and that's a big advantage to have early for Vivocade.
It really is. I mean, Yampy, again, a player that's not had the most early game impact, at least not as much as we've wanted, so already being spotted out is going to make Vivocade's job really easy and staying safe and not getting caught out by anything. And already in the bottom lane as well, we can see Trigo up CS, presumably has the push, and it just means that VKS, their early game plan is already in a good spot.
We know that Grell has been instrumental in setting this up. On the opposite side, Ninja Kiwi is the natural conclusion. We're really looking at what he'll be able to do later in the game on the promised Aphelios, but we got a lot of questions around Yampy, Noskars, and CZK, and I suppose looking a little further into this game, not just who should be doing what, but really where there will be some initiative, Hawk, is my big question for INTZ. When you have go buttons on both Kennen and Vi, who do you think INTZ actually trust to pull the trigger?
Well, that's the nice thing, right? Is that multiple people can do it. But, I mean, Vi, look, you got the point and click. That's got to be where it comes from. But Grell already, wow, surprisingly not playing her on top side, actually giving Trigo and Damage a lot of focus and walking into Yampy's jungle. I love the clear that Yampy went for. Notice, skipped the Wolves and the Krugs so we can take away the blue and the Gromp and prevent any sort of cheeky early invade from Grell, who already looking for those proactive plays on this Wukong.
Grell's going to retreat back into the jungle, spotted on Vision himself. A win for Nosferus, who placed that stealth ward proactively early on. So a little bit of data given right back, and INTZ are going to know exactly what's going on with the Vivocade stars. It is just a trade of vision in this early game, however, is even though Grell did go on the early invade, nobody's really gotten anything out of it just yet.
Now, Vivocade, they're just biding their time. Grell very much playing around the lanes. Notice that the Wolves, the Krugs, still getting left up prioritizing things like the Scuttle Crab so that he can cover his lanes, recognizing that VKS, they're a team all about those side lanes. It's all about Guigo and Trigo to be the big damage dealers, so you want to make sure that they don't fall behind against what is a threat overload comp for INTZ.
Great ward. Time from Greftar to catch Yampi. It has been a slow battle in this mid lane. Wave mostly frozen in the middle, but right now Guigo with very little mana is shoved underneath the tower, and you highlighted it earlier, but the matchup into Kennen is simply atrocious early on.
Yeah, I mean, Guigo's done a good job farming, but it's just so hard. Now, we might see a bit of action. Yampi rather finds Grell.
Sun over the wall, able to catch up to him, no red buff. Instead, Grell goes back in, even on the Wukong. Nosferus is on the way, as is Nia. Grell is alone, and Guigo's getting taken down on the top side. This is going horridly for the Vivo K-Stars, as now it's a matter of who gets the first blood, and Grell is going to go down either way. Yampi picks up the kill, and Guigo is lucky to escape with his life.
Guigo does get out, but I mean, Grell, look, we talked about proactivity from this jungler, but very aggressive Raptor invade. Well, Greftar did not have first move out of the mid lane, so a great punish from INTZ. Look, Dia may not have been a proactive play, but Yampi was able to find it nonetheless. Maybe a bit accidentally, as surprise, there's a Wukong on your Raptors.
Like, oh my lord, what is this massive chicken
There's
doing
a monkey in my chicken,
jungle?
yeah.
At this point, though, it does just become a slow chase down, and I'm surprised that Grell didn't recognize this earlier, because this was the natural conclusion of the play. Nosferus has priority out of the mid lane with the relatively even wave state, and Nia was on a great recall time.
And we've been praising INTZ for their brilliant early games in week 1, Dia, but I mean, that was frankly a massively overconfident play from Grell to go for without priority in the solo lanes. So we'll have to keep our eyes on whether or not VKS makes mistakes like that or whether it was a one-off, but it does mean Yampi very far ahead in the jungle one-on-one. Grell, only level 4 at 6 minutes, not where he wants to be, and still dropping camp, wasting time, dare I say, to try to cover in the river.
Tibbers dropped on Nosferus' face in the mid lane. It is a bit of recompense for what happened to your jungler earlier, but realistically, just converting into a little bit of poke. That ultimate missing, though, means that Vivo K-Stars don't have a critical cooldown to contest this dragon, which, for all intents and purposes, they appear to be just giving over.
And Nosferus able to get the honey fruit to top off, and INTZ, they know they have a level lead. They know they have the Vi Cassiopeia combo. Grell, I mean, you could maybe steal this, but that's a one-way trip, my friend. Yes, they're going in, however.
Damage does go for the engage on Ninja Kiwi, but man's got red, white, and man's name is Ninja Kiwi. So Vivo K-Stars aren't going to get too much off of that. Nia now but Vivo K don't have the numbers to engage as much as they want to punish. It's just going to be a little bit of poke traded back and forth, and INTZ, they get that dragon, they waltz right back into lane, and they suffer absolutely no losses.
Yeah, I mean, they drop a mid-wave, and that's it, but you're more than happy to take that win. Look at this, Dia. They're up 1,000 gold already. ZZK and Yampi topping the gold chart. Now, Trigo is in 3rd place, and we talked about this player having a lot of the damage for VKS so far this split. So we'll have to keep our eyes on this Jinx, but INTZ, for all intents and purposes, playing a great early game, something that we have not seen from them the entire split so far.
And we've got to keep our eyes on the way that this duo functions in isolation, because right now Ninja Kiwi and Nia are stepping to Trigo and damage. The very lane that we had highlighted is being so
Guigo's got to be careful.
And Guigo, unfortunately, eats the wrong side of the pie, grounded and taken down. INTZ claim yet another life.
This R5 Kennen counter from ZZK, this is what I love to see out of a team on red side. Putting Guigo in the dumpster and getting a kill as well. Now, Yampi wants the Herald, however, damage is here, but no ults were expended other than the cease and desist. ZZK is still so strong, this is risky.
Goes down. ZZK does have the utility provided by the Kennen ultimate. That's the stun, buys a little bit of space. Look out for that difference, though. Greftar still got it. He's forced to drop it on Yampi's face and flash away, however. And Vivo K-Stars, despite having the Annie on the flank, run for the hills and give up yet another neutral objective.
It's another overconfident play. Vivo Cade, they say, okay, let's contest the Herald, let's 5-on-5 for it, but they're disrespecting the fact that Guigo was not able to be a part of this play due to the INTZ gank. So INTZ just rotate up with their numbers advantage, force VKS out, and even though they don't get a kill, it's an objective traded for virtually nothing.
I dare say, Hawk, this is exactly what we'd asked for. INTZ are trusting each other, and they're making coordinated plays as a team. This is exactly what they would have hoped to work on in the offseason as well, when we saw them stick together and really hold their guns, make sure that they had the same roster, were able to build on synergy. We didn't see it in week 1. We are absolutely seeing it right now.
And I like this Vi so much for Yampi as well, because you know what? When you're struggling to make proactive plays, play a champion that you can roll up to a lane and press R. He presses R on Guigo and gets his team a big advantage, and that's what you love to see out of your jungler. So I know, I mean, INTZ, they're up 2K now as we get into this mid-game Dia, and I mean, that's not an insignificant lead whatsoever, and BKS, they look uncharacteristically uncoordinated or overconfident or something, and while they most certainly do still have scaling threats, while their team fighting will still be brilliant, it has not been the early game that we've seen from them so far.
And Yampi is playing this by wonderfully. Blue not going to get stolen, although I'll be honest with you, Hawk, I was pretty worried about it.
I was thinking about it. You know, a feather could have come over the wall right there and been a little like, haha, funny, but you know, it doesn't happen, fortunately.
It's doable. Yampi, however, controlling the bot side, even managing to pick up the ward. And now, considering his options towards the mid lane, look at the way the vision is spread out. Double ward plus the Scuttle Crab in the favor of INTZ, and Nia's on the way. He's going to hit the engage onto Grell. Yampi in this, and now 3 versus 3 jumps right on top of the Wukong, cutting down. Okay.
Oh, and now they're running bot side. Trigo needs to be careful. Alone under the tower, has summoners up and available, but 3 members of INTZ.
ZZK, he's a 1 auto away. Trigo doesn't have flash, but this ghost looks like it's going to be now. The stun comes out, and ZZK forced to expend the summoner just to stay alive. Rick Herald, as you said, dropped towards the bottom side, gives more gold over to the INTZ bot lane, and they can thank their lucky stars their top laner survived.
I was too busy talking about a bot dive, but yeah, Guigo too busy being the Gui god in top lane. It's just a Herald drop for INTZ, but Dia, I'm gonna circle back to that skirmish to the jungle, because confidence from INTZ, they know they're ahead. Yampi going deep, and Nosferis, the insta flash over the wall, the follow was just gorgeous. 3,000 gold now is the lead. It seems like every time a play happens, INTZ, they go up another K.
ZZK just managed to pick up the Mythic as well. So this gold lead that you're seeing on your screen, the one that, you know, is trending ever further in INTZ's favor, is really making itself known in the items, and it's the perfect time as well. Next dragon has just come up. Infernal Drake is on the table. Vivo Cade wanted, but INTZ are not going to give this up. Chompers in the line of INTZ, call out the engagement. It's coming. In comes the Tibbers. In comes the big knockup. No damage has been dealt. Ninja Kiwi is stealing it out overall, flashing through, following up on the engagement from Yampi, and it's a double kill for the star jungler of INTZ.
Vivo Cade Stars not able to get it done in INTZ. They're looking mighty strong in this one, Thea. Maybe it was just a week 1 slump, or maybe they were just like that all along, as a patient fight in the river, flexing their muscles, puts them firmly in the lead. We can take another look at the Coca-Cola pop-off right here, as BKS, the engage looks fantastic. Grethar finds Tippers on 2, damage follows up, but that is an Infernum of Belios you're diving into, and no Mythic on Trigo means that this Jinx just doesn't do enough damage at this point in the game.
And I know you keep saying, and it's tough. Well, it's for its name.
The best CC is Death Dia. So, you know, when you can hit all the CC you want, but if they're lacking the best one, it's kind of hard to make it happen.
Exactly, and that's what I'm really noticing about Vivo Cade in that fight. Yeah, damage is all over the front line of INTZ, but the actual damage, you know, the AD, AP kind of stuff, the good stuff that we have in League of Legends, that's notably lacking.
Yeah, definitely is. And, I mean, Dia, the player that we asked so many questions about, Yampi, could he keep up with Grell's aggressive playstyle? Could he make the plays for his team? The answer so far, a resounding yes. 4-0-1, 100% kill participation. And Grell, the player that we so praised in the pre-show, sitting at 0-3-0, down substantially in CS as well. This is the jungle diff not going the way that we expected it to, and credit to INTZ for getting it done.
Now, if you are a fan of the Vivo K-Stars, I'm going to hand you guys a little bit of hopium right now because Grell's still playing on Wukong, an incredible team-fighting jungler with a lot of utility to pump out in these 5v5s. Trigo's got the Jinx, and there is always a world where, especially with Guigo playing the Gui God style of Gwen up in the top side, there is a team fight in the cards for Vivo Cade. It is going to rely on a lot of things coming together.
2 towers just got taken. Vivo Cade, 5,500 gold now is the lead, just incrementing it ever higher. But Dia, I want to take a step back. I think there's only one conclusion that we can reach from this game. Oh, hang on, ZZK though, getting roamed on. Gonna be fine, okay, Grefthar is leaving. But there's only one logical conclusion that we can draw from this game, okay? You ready for this?
Ready.
All right, both Aphelios and Wukong picked in 7 games, banned in 1 last week. Both went 5-2 in the 7 games they were picked. Clearly, we are going to see whether or not Aphelios or Wukong is a stronger champion right now. I think that's the only logical explanation.
That's the big showdown. You know what? I like where we're going with this.
Yeah.
CBLOL needs answers.
And Annie's also 5-2. All these 5-2 champions, like one of them's gonna lose right now.
I mean, if we're thinking about it from a numbers perspective, we got Annie and Wukong at the same team, but we got a teleport behind Trigo, and that's certainly going to keep things up. ZZK have no problems isolating and destroying the AD carry. That is, well, that's top lane thing.
Yeah, that is definitely top lane things. I think that's AD carry things being like, okay, I'm dead. I'm just going to kill the tower. Unlucky for Trigo right there. INTZ first move in mid as well. They can bear down on this tower with Crescendum Calibrum. They're going to back away as they don't have a huge wave, but just another way that INTZ flexing their muscles so far in this mid game.
It is, with the teleport extended, brings ZZK down into the bot side. You are prioritizing, I'd say, pretty far away from the impending Rift Herald. We've got a few minutes until that one pops over. And Yampi is just going to be ready to drop that anywhere around the top side. So we'll see whether INTZ actually have the numbers to back that up when and if it occurs.
And INTZ, as we go towards this dragon, which I would assume Vivo Cade will feel compelled to fight, considering it will be Soul Point, is, you know, their gold allocated so excellently. It's on those go buttons that we so highlighted. And that's exactly where you want it when you're in the mid game. Look, Ninja Kiwi, Nosferus, those guys will get there. They are strong. But having ZZK and Yampi be this fed means that these Vivo Cade members could just get one shot if the angle is found. Damage does have the exhaust for the cannon, but it might not be enough.
Looking super solid right now, and INTZ know that they just have to hang on to the lead. It's why we see them controlling vision, making sure they have mid priority, and not overextending in the side lanes. ZZK hit the recall earlier, and now they're roaming around as for taking away the jungle and the resources of Vivo Cade.
Vivo Cade, they've just decided, hey, we've got objective bounties up. We're not strong enough to fight. I think they're going to wait for Trigo. Maybe 3 items by the next dragon. Pick up an objective bounty, but INTZ, not without a response, right? They can use the Rift Herald takedown mid tier 1. Maybe even pick the... Oh, never mind. I just gets popped just like that, but... I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a trade. The trade favoring INTZ, but it's Vivo Cade just trying to get something back. Down so much.
Nice thing is, with objective bounties, you know, it is going to feel a little bit better. The problem is you're trading away the tower for a tower and a dragon. Not just any dragon, Soul Point. One more Drake will give a Cloud Soul over to INTZ, who are already terrifying, who you already have worrying about running at you. Now they'll run at you even faster.
ZZK with the Cloud Soul this game, I'm like quaking if I'm Vivo Cade. That is going to be terrifying if he gets that. Oh, the AoE one-shot, are we going to see like a Smeb-esque play coming out here from ZZK?
I would not be surprised. ZZK did have some good plays earlier on. They've been largely alone, however. in the team fights, we haven't really seen
Yeah,
INTZ
that's just the top lane
come
experience,
together.
though. You know, nothing out of the ordinary there, right?
Oh, true. Maybe we'll see it happen now. ZZK, again, caught alone, flashes away this time. It's going to be that, again, isolated experience, but fortunately one that he manages to survive. Thank God he's got all the gold.
That's a pretty big flash to force out for ZZK, not having that extra backline access available. So nice win for Vivo Cade, but I mean, it's still not that pick that you needed. It's not the shutdown coming through, and INTZ, they're getting waves for it on the opposite side of the map. So still overall very okay for them.
When we're looking at the carries, the big buttons on INTZ for this game, Nosferus has been suspiciously absent, just sitting in the side lanes and making sure to scale up in this Cassiopeia, but not to be ignored. Meanwhile, Yambi's got the most kills in the game, and Ninja Kiwi's got the most CS. I'd say this is pretty gosh darn excellent resource allocation.
Okay, Dia, at this point in the game, Grefdar has the rocket belt. You've got 1.5 items, Kraken Slayer on Trigo. If you find like the god tier Annie Rakan Wombo combo like we saw at the Dragon at this point in the game, does Vivo Cade actually kill anybody? That is still the question, right? Like, they've got a couple items now, but they're still really far behind nonetheless.
And I really wish that I could answer it. There's no good way to be able to approach this next engagement, wherever it may happen, and it's looking increasingly like it's going to happen around the Baron as INTZ step up
strong
and start taking down Baron Nashor, forcing response from Vivo Cade stars.
INTZ clearly thinks the answer to my question is no. They're like, hey, I don't think we get AoE one-shot, and they've got insane turns. ZZK on the flank going on to Guigo.
Isolated and destroyed. It's again that story of top lane. In comes a big engage from Grell. Nobody is there. It's him and Grefdar against the world. Somehow Nia picks up a double, but in the midst of all of that, INTZ have not lost a single member. They clean Vivo Cade of their top side, and they turn right back on the barrel.
That was a quality flank from ZZK right there. A top laner that has endured a lot of criticism for INTZ, playing a great game, leveraging the R5 counter beautifully and securing his team a Baron. I mean, the INTZ, they are absolutely demolishing one of the top teams in the CBLOL.
Playing so ridiculous, ludicrously well. We're going to take that one more time because Guigo did not have a snowball's chance.
It's just such a beautiful setup. INTZ knows that they don't have to stay on the Baron, and they also know that Vivo Cade not in a great position to contest. It looks okay as damage, and Rel got a lot of knockups in the front right there, but again, no damage anywhere on Vivo Cade to speak of. Everybody on INTZ is completely fine. They clean up the kills, they clean up the worm. 8,000 gold in the lead, Baron in hand. They can start using their AD carry, their mid laner to siege down these towers, maybe even look for a dive if they're feeling that confident. 2 items on everybody. This team firing on all cylinders in week 2.
Watch Yampi at this point in the game because he's the one making the calls. Where are INTZ going? Who are they hunting down right now? He's making a beeline for Grell. Knockup comes in. Float is out, but so is Grell. ZZK picking up the kill. Yampi, the one that starts it all.
Yeah, I know in our notes we had a question of could Grell perform off of Wukong because he's only played Wukong so far this split. Well, he played the Wukong, so not really a question worth asking. Now the question is, can Grell perform on Wukong? This has been not Grell's game. Just making many critical mistakes, getting caught out at bad times, and giving over a lot of advantages. INTZ, they punished that so beautifully. Cracking open the inhibitor. They've got ZZK working on mid. They can rotate back to Soul, which should go over uncontested. I mean, Vivo Cade, they left the door open for INTZ. And a team that we said was struggling, they have punished.
And it's so funny, I can't help but laugh, cry a little bit even, because Ninja Kiwi is also our big carry. He has been INTZ's big carry the entire year. And this game, he has not been the focus at all. The man's got 4 assists, he's playing support.
Yeah. Ninja Kiwi's just been vibing, and hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. He's probably sitting there like wiping the sweat off his brow, like, wow, this is nice. My team's doing well. Like I don't have to carry the whole game. That's great.
Cloud Soul's been secured. It is just another feather in the cap of INTZ as they rocket further ahead with this game. A nearly 10,000 gold difference separating these rosters, and it has been all off the back of brilliant play from INTZ. Now, they've still got the world as their oyster, and they are running it down the mid lane.
Yeah, they still got Baron. I mean, it's only on for a few more seconds, but maybe enough time to land some shots onto this inhibitor turret. BKS, they are completely out of position. The backs come through now, but this is going to be a second inhibitor secured. Vivo Cade giving that one over, maybe a little for free. Oh, hang on, last-ditch effort.
Weego's coming in, has that big flank, no way to lock down the members of INTZ. Now there's the Uno reverse card. In comes Cannon. Into Lasagnas with the Messiah play. And from the fall.
Wait a minute.
Well, it comes first to Yampi. Engages. It does go a little wrong for INTZ. They step a little too far, and Vivo Cade are quick to punch.
Okay, I went a little pear-shaped. CZK, maybe the TP a little too hypey right there. The stopwatch not enough to save him, but it's still only one kill. Yeah, it's a shutdown, but INTZ, that's not going to stop this freight train from barreling down on Vivo Cade's base in due time, Dia.
At this point, you're waiting for next objective. INTZ do not need it, but they'll take another Baron to fight around. That one's going to be coming up in 2 minutes before the Elder Dragon hits the Rift in 4. For Vivo Cade, what can they do in this time to try and equalize the game state? Because I'll be honest, Talk, from where I'm sitting, it's not a lot.
It's not a lot, but I will say there is a silver lining where if INTZ lets the Elder spawn 4 minutes from now, then INTZ rather have made a mistake. They need to get this Baron and end the game before that big objective comes up. They've got a big enough lead to do it. One good team fight will mean the game. So fight for the Baron and get this game closed out. You don't want to leave open the door for any sort of shenanigans with an all-powerful buff like Elder has. So that is the one window for Vivo Cade, but that means they have to survive an extra 3.5 minutes, Dia, and that is going to be a very tall order as INTZ clearly, they understand the assignment, bearing down on the last outer.
Starting to, as Vivo Cade, group up against this, knowing that, well, you might not want to team fight, but it's your best shot at actually repelling the push. Clearing out the vision as a team. Watch Yampi, the spearhead of INTZ. He's been the one really pulling the trigger on these engages. The Vi proving so useful for the roster.
And Dio, we came in to this week saying that Vivo Cade, they were big favorites in this game. They're looking to solidify themselves as a top-tier team by taking out a struggling INTZ. But now, losing, and not just losing, but in such a dominant fashion. What's the opinion of Vivo Cade now? An uncharacteristically rough game from them. Not only failing to solidify themselves as a top team, but maybe not standing out amongst the pack with this one. And I think this does speak to, in CBLOL, you never know who's going to beat who. There's so much parity between these teams. They play each other tight all the time, but still, the conclusions to reach about these two teams after this game really throwing off the expectations we had set.
And I think that in retrospect of this game, I'd be looking at this and going, Vivo Cade haven't given up control of this so much as INTZ have taken it. This is an amazing story for them. Can they hold on to it, however? They started up a very ballsy Baron. It's already below 3K, and Vivo Cade do not have a way to engage. Instead, Grell tries to go in, but in comes Yampi, pulls the trigger on the engaged board. Now INTZ. Damage goes in the backline. Oh, sorry, 5-man for him. Just go crazy over the remaining members of Vivo Cade, and damage is the last one left to tell the tale.
You know what? This may not have been Ninja Kiwi's big carry game deal, but flashing in Giga Chad of Melios, red, white, VKS, they shouldn't have fought, as it's going to be game 1 to INTZ.
Nothing is losing in the face of that. This INTZ roster made